when we pray, just because we don't see anything happening right there and then, or even in the short term or short long term in front of our very eyes, doesn't mean that something powerful isn't happening in the supernatural. One of my favourite saints, St. Padre Pio, who one of his most famous quotes is, "Pray, hope and don't worry." Obviously a big believer in prayer and in the power of prayer. He taught that, particularly with the rosary actually, when we offer up intentions in the rosary or in any way that we pray, that immediately when we start to pray, something begins to happen, something begins to change. It might not always be exactly what we want to see right there and then. It might not always be what we exactly want to see, eventually or in the long term, but something is definitely happening. He described it as being like, when we pray for somebody, it's like there's a rope connected between them and the kingdom of heaven, if you like. And when we pray, that rope begins to tighten as if something is happening, something is changing. And I think that's a great comfort, at the moment, particularly during Holy Week, but really generally in our prayer life, if we're offering up the rosary or whatever our prayers are. Maybe we're praying for such huge world issues like world peace or, less of division and hate and anger and violence in our societies. And, whether we're praying for, horrific diseases to be eradicated, we're praying for individuals and their situations. Maybe we're praying for people's salvation, for their conversion. Maybe it's our own health worries or health worries in our family, whatever it might be. It's such a great comfort to understand that though we don't understand fully the supernatural intricacies of prayer, as soon as we begin to pray with our intentions for anything, something in the supernatural is happening, and it may take time. It might not be fully how we expect to see it, but our prayers will be answered in one way or another. And I think that's not only a comfort, but I think that's really exciting as well. That's why our Blessed Mother was constantly, in her messages telling us we should be praying against war, we should be praying for the conversion of souls, we should be praying for those in purgatory, or whatever it might be, because prayer has a powerful, powerful effect. And every time we pray, something is happening. I hope that's a comfort for somebody today, for your own personal issues, for somebody you love, or on the wider scale globally. I hope that'll give you some comfort and encourage you to pray more, to be excited about prayer, particularly about praying the rosary. God bless your day.